Hello, my name is Gabriela Cășinanu, and today I'll talk about the 3 key elements to build a meaningful professional life. It is part of the series Introvert Tools for Navigating Challenging Situations, brought to you by Introverts Academy. Our mission is to raise awareness about introvert strengths and how to tap into their impressive inner power for personal, professional, organizational, and systemic development to build a better world for all of us. And we're doing this by acting on 4 levels. Individual level to help introverts understand their strengths. At interpersonal level to inspire introverts and extroverts to learn about each other's strengths and how to communicate more effectively. At the group level, team organizations to create environments that nurture and allow both introverts and extroverts to thrive by using their strengths. And at the systemic level, to build a better world by leveraging the complementary strengths of introverts and extroverts and removing the gaps, the challenges they face. And we're doing this by offering courses, webinars, we have books, other resources, group coaching, mastermind group, and you can access some of this through the Introverts Academy membership. This webinar series is based on the curriculum wheel for Introverts Academy, and we're focusing on introversion and extroversion. And if you don't know if you are an introvert or an extrovert, we invite you to take the quiz on our website, introvertsacademy.org, because it's important to know where you fit on the spectrum, introversion, extroversion, since introverts and extroverts have complementary innate strengths. I'm an introvert, and I'm the founder of the Introverts Academy because I want more introverts to tap into their strengths to build a better world together. Today I'll talk about 3 topics. The essential ingredient for building a meaningful professional path, even if you're not clear about your professional goals. Second, while having a profession is not enough, the missing element that has nothing to do with how knowledgeable you are. And the third one, the biggest mistake many people do when they think about their career or starting a business. Let's talk about the first topic, the essential element to build a meaningful professional path, even if you're not clear about your professional goals. What do you think? Is the professional world very competitive? When I ask this question, usually I get a 100% yes. That's what people think, that the professional world is very competitive. But I want to give you a different approach. As you can see here, people are competing each other toward what they think is a common objective. But actually, it's a little bit different. I invite you to be aware that thinking the professional world is very competitive is just a belief. It's just a perspective. There might be another one that better suits you if you want to build a meaningful professional path. And this is what I did. I built my career step by step. I didn't think about the competitive world. I didn't think that I have to compete with someone else. And if you take another person who does the same, each of us build our careers based on what we consider meaningful. What I consider meaningful might be different from some other person might consider meaningful for their own career path. And how you build a meaningful professional path? Step by step. Each step you take has to align more with what is meaningful to you. And that's how you create your professional path that is meaningful and you enjoy the journey. And the other person is doing the same. So you see, we don't compete. Each of us starts somewhere. Each of us have different strengths, different talents. We want different things. And if you just pay attention to what's the next step I can take that's meaningful to me and take that action, and next, that's how I can build and you can build as well. We don't have to compete. We don't have to consider the world that is very competitive because we can build the future that we want for ourselves. And in this process, we can also help each other. I can help you to reach your meaningful objective and you can help me. So instead of competing, actually we can help each other. We can rely on each other and collaborate. So we can build our meaningful path in a way that doesn't rely only on our own resources, but also through the resources and the connections that we have with others. What do you think about this approach? So you can replace the old belief that the professional world is very competitive with a new belief the one where you're in charge of your career, of your professional path, of your business, and you build it the way you want it. Which brings a question: do you know what's meaningful to you? Because if you want to build a meaningful professional path, and every step you take to be more meaningful, more aligned with what you consider a meaningful professional path, you have to become aware of what's meaningful to you. And meaningful doesn't necessarily mean financial, because you can be very fulfilled by the profession you have, even if you don't have millions of dollars in the bank and the investments. Raphael Badial wrote the book The $1 Billion Secret, 20 Principles of Billionaire Wealth and Success. And he says, money itself doesn't change much about your ability to be happy. It just magnifies your personality. If you do a search on the internet, you'll find that people that are very successful on the financial aspect of their will, they might not be very happy. And there are people who are happy who are not so successful. You have to define what's meaningful to you and what's important to you. Bob Proctor said the same thing. It's not about the money. So the essential element is to be aware of your values at every stage of your professional path. And by values, I mean what is really important to you in life in general. And I'll give you some examples. When you know what's important to you, what are your values, then you align your decisions with your most important values. You stay in integrity with yourself. What you do next is more important than the position you have. If right now you are at a certain position that you don't like, that's not a problem. Because you've got to this position thinking in a certain way and taking certain actions. But if you want to build a more meaningful professional path, you have to take action according to your most important values. And that will take you to another step, and another, and another. And if each step is meaningful, that's how you build that professional path. You don't have to wait for something to happen to put you on the trajectory that you would like to be. You can build that step by step. Let me talk about my professional path. I never considered that I'm in competition with someone. And I put it in a table. On one column, it's what I want, the other one, what I don't want regarding each of the positions I've been through. Back in Romania, in my childhood, I realized that I'm very intuitive. So I wanted to experience, to use my creativity. And I was not attracted to reading books, just sitting with a book in my hand for hours. That was not what I was interested in. I was interested in learning from experience, to be creative, to use my intuition. However, my mom was very good at math in school, and she loved math, and she taught me how to think logically. I became so good at math and physics, and when it was time to go to university, I chose electronic engineering. Why electronic engineering and not other type of engineering? Because it has a cleaner environment, and I thought that I might feel better in that environment. But what I realized by working in that field is that I don't like to be in that technical field. Something was missing. I moved to another department, quality assurance, quality control, and here I realized that I don't like to control others. I don't like to tell them what they're wrong. I didn't feel good doing that. Then I started taking IT programming courses, and I loved that it was a very creative way of using technical skills, but I still wanted to get out of the technical field. So I went into the customer care department, where I started using my IT skills, creating some software to gather the data about clients. It was a huge company, national telecom company, and I realized that it's still not what I want. There is something else, but I didn't know what it is. I was using the computer 10 hours a day. My eyes were getting tired, and so I didn't want to stay in that field anymore. And when I got the chance, I went through an MBA. I understand the bigger picture of what's going on in a company. But I got frustrated because I realized I don't want to be a manager. And also, at the level where I was, I couldn't make the changes that I was seeing with the new knowledge I acquired from that MBA. So I kept looking. I thought that there might be something else for me. That was when I came to Canada. I started to work in customer service for 3 months. how I approached that, I said, long term, I need to figure out what I really want. But short term, let me start using whatever skills I have. And I started with this short-term position in customer service. After 3 months, I moved to another one, hardware quality assurance, where I was using my engineering background. My salary was doubled, so I was happy from a financial perspective. But still, I was looking into what should I focus on for long term. What do I really want? I remember that when I came to Canada in the first 2 weeks, I went through a job search workshop, and there was one exercise that the facilitator gave us. She showed us a list of skills and asked to check the ones that we were interested in using in the career of our dreams. So I did that exercise, and the next question was, how many of these did you use up to now? I realized that everything that I've done so far was totally different from what I wanted to. And you can imagine, because I shifted career to coaching, and coaching and engineering or technical field are two different professions. They use different skills. That's why I didn't get any satisfaction from working in the technical field. And I get much more satisfaction by using coaching skills and helping people understand how to fish instead of giving them the fish. I was also looking for a profession where I can help people, and it's not so driven by frequently updates like engineering, especially electronic engineering, that it's a very fast-paced field, so you have to be up to date all the time. So I figured out what I really want based actually on that exercise that I did in the job search workshop. Because after I finished that exercise, I went home and I started creating a list of the things that I would like to have in the career of my dreams. And 3 years after, when I was more at ease financially and more comfortable in the new environment, I sit down, I looked at my list and realized that actually what I want to do right now is coaching. So I started taking courses in the new field, which led me to using coaching into developing a mentoring program for professional newcomers. That's how I got into the nonprofit sector. But I love that experience of building a program from scratch because I use my creativity, I use my coaching, my business skills, my professional communication, so I could relate to the clients I was dealing with and the mentors who were professionals with more experience in Canada. So I started shifting towards something that I really like. At one point I introduced workshops because I wanted to help more people and I didn't have enough mentors. And I love the marketing part of promoting the workshops and helping people understand all these new concepts that I was sharing. At one point, I wanted to express myself even more, my creativity, so I started focusing on photography, painting. I started combining concepts. At that point, I came up with the idea of photo coaching and creating my photo coaching books. I also started creating some jewelry, and I realized actually I don't want to continue on that path because I didn't want just to focus on something that helps people feel good because they wear a piece of jewelry. I wanted something different, so it was not so important to me. I still wanted to express myself, but coaching and workshops and combining concepts from different fields was much more meaningful to me, and that's why I continue in that direction. Even my volunteering experience shows that I was focusing on meaningful causes. I didn't just volunteer, I didn't just want to occupy my time. I volunteered with organizations, with programs that could help me use the skills that I have and build new skills. That's how I gained leadership experience, and that experience even helped me get into a paid manager position. So you can see how doing things that you love can help you within the professional path or build that meaningful professional path that you want. Regarding volunteering, I realized that what I don't want is to put too much time into it because I couldn't grow my business focusing on all those volunteering activities. So I kept in mind all the time to figure out what I want and what I don't want so I can move to the next level. At one point I was so burnt out by doing workshops every day that I couldn't talk for 4 months, and I started writing. I still wanted to express myself, and I started using a non-verbal way to express myself. And what I didn't want at that point, to accept that the burnout could be something that slows me down. If one door closed, I couldn't talk for 4 months. Another one opened, I used my willingness to express myself, and I used another way, writing. I became a university instructor because I love the idea that it can give me more credibility and I can share the approaches that I learned through all these years, combining concepts from different fields. And while I was doing that, I realized that I don't like to teach someone else material. I develop my own materials, I design my own workshops, so I wanted to do that more. I held different leadership positions throughout the years, and what I learned from that is that as an introvert, I can be a good leader. I love to take initiative. I like to focus on meaningful causes. And what I don't like, people with a fixed mindset who don't want to try new things, to see things from new perspectives. So you can see from my experience, at each step I looked at what I want and what I don't want. I try to go away from what I don't want and bring more of what I want into the next phase of my career. And you can see a C. After I changed the career to coaching, I used my coaching skills, the systemic thinking perspectives that I gained through the coaching training in everything else that I've done. So I'm functioning right now with expertise from various fields, and that's why I bring unique perspectives to the table. And I love that. So I invite you to figure out, what do you really love? What do you want more at your next phase of your professional path? And start looking to how you can build it. Gain the experience, learn the new skills, and move on to the next level. So you can see there is no competition. The only person I was in competition with was myself. So I don't repeat the past, I don't use more of the things that I don't want, and I can focus more on the things that I want, that are meaningful, that are important to me. If you look at the graph satisfaction time, when I came to Canada, my first position in customer service, I didn't get much satisfaction because it was very low comparing to my expertise. Then I moved into the quality assurance position that doubled my salary, so I was a little bit happy, but not very happy with that position because it was not aligned with who I am, what I really want, what's really meaningful to me. Only when I shifted from the technical field to coaching, you can see that red arrow that goes up very fast because I start gaining much more satisfaction with what I was doing and what I was building next and next and next phase of my professional path. To summarize, be aware of your values at every stage of your professional path. And what do you need for that? You need to be willing to become aware of your values, what's important to you, to be curious and do some self-reflection to discover those aspects that you really love. Write them down. Ask yourself, how can I use this more? What else can I do to use these values in my next phase for my own professional path? So I encourage you to take steps forward by aligning your decisions with your most important values. Why having a profession is not enough? There is a missing element that has nothing to do with how knowledgeable you are. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, the profession is any type of work that needs special training or a particular skill, often one that is respected because it involves a high level of education. According to their definition, it has nothing to do with who you are, what's important to you, what you care about. And I invite you to pay attention also to the words that you are using. The Cambridge Dictionary gives an example. He is a doctor by profession. He is not a doctor, he is a human being. But if you associate yourself with a profession, you have a hard time to believe that you can do something else. If I would associate myself that I'm an engineer, I would never think that I can do something else. So pay attention to the words you are using. I will give you a few examples to understand why having a profession is not enough. The first one is about Elon Musk, the billionaire. He said, I didn't go to Harvard, but people who work for me did. He also said, I actually wasn't sure what I wanted to do growing up. I think at one point I thought inventing stuff or creating things would be a cool thing to do. But I wasn't really sure if that meant starting a company or whether that meant working for a company that made cool stuff. A little bit about his past. He moved from South Africa to North America when he was 17 and had only $2,000. He came to Canada, then he moved to US because he got a scholarship from US Stanford Engineering Physics grad school, but he dropped out with $110,000 in college debt. Then he started looking for a job. He applied for a company and continues, I didn't get a reply and I tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. So I'm just standing there in the lobby. It was pretty embarrassing. I was just sort of standing there trying to see if there's someone I could talk to, and then I just couldn't. I was too scared to talk to anyone. So then I left. And what followed? He started his own company. He sold and he started PayPal. He sold that one too. And now he has several companies: SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, Neuralink, OpenAI. And he started each of these companies because he got an idea of something that was meaningful to him. If you talk about SpaceX, he always had this idea that we need to build our path toward other planets, because if we study history, we realize that humanity goes in cycles. And if something happens to this cycle we live in, it's good to have a plan B to go on another planet. The Boring Company, he started because one day he had an idea while driving on a highway that was very busy. He thought that they should build some tunnels so people don't have to stay for hours in the traffic. And the next time when he find himself in a similar situation, he said, okay, if they don't do it, I'll do it. So he started the Boring Company. And if you do some research, every company he created has an idea that was meaningful to him, and he started working on it. He started OpenAI because he believes that humanity has to take some measures so AI doesn't hurt humanity. So you can see how a shy, introverted person was able to go from not knowing how to find a job to become a billionaire, and he was focusing all the time on things that he really cared about. He wanted to provide value. He wanted to help in one way or another. So if you're wondering why having a profession is not enough, what's the missing element? If not knowledge, the missing element is integrity. Integrity with yourself, with what's really important to you. Do things that are important to you, that you care about, that you find meaningful. That's what Elon Musk did. Brené Brown says in her book Rising Strong, integrity is choosing courage over comfort. Choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. Do you have integrity at this level of your professional path? I'll give you 2 more examples. You might think that Elon Musk is just an exception, that I'm not like him. Let's call him Alan. When I met him, he was a newcomer to Canada. He had an agricultural engineering background. So he came here in Toronto, he didn't know what to do. He couldn't find a job. He started working at Tim Hortons. Was he doing work in integrity with his values? I asked him that question because he was frustrated, stressed. He started having mental health issues. When I asked what's really important to him, he said nature. He loves nature. That's why he chose a profession. He also loves creativity. He was drawing futuristic cars. So you can see that it had nothing to do with the work at Tim Hortons. And even an agricultural engineer, he was not really aligned with the most important values he had. There was not much creativity in what he was doing. So I asked him if he knows about landscaping. He didn't. He started doing some research. Next time when I met him, he was studying landscape architecture, urban design, and he graduated, and right now he's working in the field and he's very happy with it. Another example, Jane. She's an IT professional, certified in Google Analytics, and she was looking for a job. When I asked her about using LinkedIn, her answer was, I don't like to connect with strangers. She's an introvert. I don't want to be on social media. I don't like to accept invitations on LinkedIn from people that I don't know. And my question for her was, do you really walk your talk? Are you really doing what you're saying? Because as an IT professional, someone who is specialized in Google Analytics, who helps companies to increase their visibility, if you're not on LinkedIn, if you're not using social media, what the companies will think about you? That you're not interested in the trends, you don't keep yourself up to date, especially in North America, LinkedIn, it's very useful. 95% of the professionals and companies are using it. So what image do you project? Especially if you're looking for a job. When I asked her what is her main value, he said he's passionate about environmental sustainability. So did she walk her talk? There was nothing in what he was doing up to that point that was aligned with her main value. But what she did, she came to the workshops that I was doing at the time on how to use LinkedIn for job search, how to use informational interviews, to meet new people, to get more information about your field, about your profession, about the job market. So she starts searching companies who have an environmental sustainability policy. So she started aligning her background, her job search, with her values. Within 1 month, she got 5 job interviews. She received 2 job offers, and she refused one because she didn't like the culture. And she accepted the other one. The company was very interested in environmental sustainability. They have policies in place. And the most important, they hired her because she's passionate about that. It was what made her succeed in that job interview. So you can see how being in integrity with yourself, aligning your objectives and your strategies with your own values can help you build that meaningful professional path that you want. Let's talk about the biggest mistake that many people do when they think about their career or starting a business. You need to be prepared because it's a process. It's not just one step or overnight success. It might look, for an outsider who doesn't know what you do, these little steps will take you where you want. You don't get a job just by sending one resume to a position that you saw somewhere. You need to prepare for the interview. You might not get that position. You apply for another one. You meet people. You find other ways to find the positions that you want. And from that one, you move to the next one and the next one. So you build that meaningful professional path, or you build your business through a process. You don't become rich overnight. Your business doesn't become successful overnight. A lot of people who are starting their business, they expect results very fast. You have to be prepared because it is a process. It looks like this, with ups and downs, with failures. Actually, I want to leave you with something that I heard from a serial entrepreneur. He said he learned it from his mentor, that when you start a business, you have to fail fast. What that means, you have to try something. Even if you fail, you learn from that failure and try again and repeat the process. And that's how you move on. And you might crash and you might go through troubles, but you learn, you develop new skills in the process. You increase your awareness. You figure out what's working and what's not working. And in this process, you build your path towards success or a meaningful career path. So it's very important to understand that it's a process, so you have the patience to go through it. It's like a journey. It starts with a goal, and it's good to align with your values, with a belief that you can make it, because if you don't believe, you might not have the energy and enthusiasm to get there. It starts with figuring out what are the strategies to go there and take the first step. You don't have to know everything. Just take the first step, accept failure as a teacher, learn from it, think about what's the next step and the next, and that's how you build that journey. It takes time, commitment, courage, patience, willingness to improve, and resilience. Because if you give up in the process, you won't get where you want. As you can see, you need to consider it a journey and try to do your best of every step of the process. What you've learned so far? The essential ingredient for building a meaningful professional path: be aware of your values. Why having a profession or knowledge is not enough. The missing element is integrity. And the biggest mistake when you think about your career or starting a business, you don't consider it a process. You want to have results fast. And the most important is who you become in that process is not really the destination. Because you might reach the destination and you look, is that all? From there you want something else. So it's not about the destination. It's about who you become in the process. What skills and expertise you gain in the process. Who you become as a person. And that self-development, it's the one that will make you feel that it's worthwhile, that it's meaningful. Especially if you align it with integrity, with your values. If you look at my career path, I did things in parallel. I didn't just focus on one, because while I was working on something, I was building the skills for the next phase, and the next phase, and the next phase. I started my coaching business in 2006, and I still consider myself in a coaching business, but I'm bringing my coaching skills in different projects. So I didn't leave anything behind. I just built step by step on what I gained from the previous experience. And it's a meaningful journey. What's next? How we can help you? There are books on our website One of them is Introverts, Leverage Your Strengths for an Effective Job Search. It's an award-winning book. One of the readers said, "I wish I have had this book a few years ago, when I struggled to find my way, my path, my new career. It explains how important it is to know what you want, how to use your strengths and skills to find a workplace that matches your values, and find the courage to eliminate those that are not a good fit. The strategies presented will help you access the hidden job market. The strategies won't work alone, but as a cluster. Using them in parallel will not only accelerate the process of finding a job, but also keep your head up during these difficult periods of time." Dita Yorga. We also have a group coaching. You can join our coaching group. It's called Meaningful Career. Check out Eventbrite for our webinars in the same series. They are introductory webinars on the topics covered by Curriculum Wheel for Individuals at the Introverts Academy. So we have several ways to help you. On the membership platform, we will put more information, more resources. Join us. Thank you for watching this video.